For cheap gold, items and other boosts for Diablo 4, visit aoeah.com. Check out the link in the description, you get 3% off with the code ARIAD. Hello and welcome everybody. This is the guide to my Tornado Shredder build. It offers many possibilities, and if you have understood the essential things, you can also play a pure Tornado Wolf or a pure Shredder. The reason why I combine both, because it works and because it really kicks ass. Also, there is the Uber Lilith one-hit killer trick you can finally do with this build. But anyway, the combo is pretty strong because you get incredible kill speed and can take advantage of both attacks. Tornado is generally a solid source of damage, and with Shred you dash across the map in no time and can kill trash mobs on the fly. This build develops its power when becoming level 75 plus and when having found several special items. But I will still give a few tips on how to play the build while leveling up. I finally did so this season and it worked quite fine. As always, let's start with the skill tree. The basic attack is Storm Strike with enhancement. In the endgame, we don't want to have more than 2 points here, but as long as you use the attack frequently, you can also spend points here. In the core, Raging Tornado and Primal Shred are outskilled, and we also need a few passive skills. Wild Impulses in the endgame, Abundance you can choose as long as you often use Storm Strike. In addition, also 3 points each in Predatory Instinct and Digitigate Gate. In the defensive skills, Earthen Bulwark with 1 point plus the first expansion, that's our shield and stun breaker. Blood Hole also gets 1 point and we take the enhancement here as well. In the end, we will only put Earthen Bulwark in the key assignment, but we will have Blood Hole available during the ultimate. Besides, 3 points in Vigilance are also a good choice. In the Wrath skills, we take the Savage Hurricane with 1 point, plus Endless Storm to increase the duration. The Hurricane will protect us and also help with the resource generation. Also important is 3 points in Toxic Claws, so we take a decent poison damage bonus. In the ultimate skills, we take Supreme Grizzly Rage. Together with the Direwolf aspect, we will remain a wolf. In addition, the 3 passive skills Defiance, Defensive Posture and Nature's Resolve. The last 2 will get us fortified. With the key passives, you can play different variants. Earthen Might is an option if you play with the appropriate aspect. Perfect Storm otherwise also helps with your resource generation. When your resources are fine, you can also play Lupine Ferocity or Earthen Strength in the endgame, depending on your taste. Briefly the Spirit Boons. At the Deer we go for Wariness, at the Bird Avian Wrath, and with the Fox Calamity, but in the beginning Energize is also helpful for the resource budget. The Snake is our Bond, here we take the last 2 points. Now to the Paragon system. The most important boards are Lust for Carnage, Ancestral Guidance, Inner Beast and Hate and Malice. At level 100 I maybe rearrange them again. For the Glyphs there are many that we could use. Spirit, Werewolf, Territorial, Fang and Claw and Exploit are generally useful. But since we also benefit from poison damage, Tracker and Bane are also very effective. They are also preferred for the Uber Lilith killing method. I'm definitely leveling them all up to be able to switch flexibly. Let's go through the boards. We can optionally replace the Glyph Spirit in the starter board with Tracker. Hate and Malice is the second board. Here I have the Glyph Fang and Claw, because here we have many useful magic nodes within reach. The rare nodes on the boards increase the damage on poison, and the legendary node also pushes our damage. Then I have Inner Beast with the Glyph Werewolf, which is great for damage and damage reduction. You could also take the rare node Tenacity here later to give the wolf more armor and life. Lust for Carnage is very important for the resources. Here I currently have the Glyph Bane. Since we play with a lot of poison damage, it definitely makes sense. For even more damage, the node Havoc would also be an option. Ancestral Guidance is also an important board, although we don't skill that much here. The legendary node boosts our damage, and Reclamation helps the resource budget. My further plan is to tag the Survival Instincts board to the top of the second board to activate the Bulwark node there and to socket the Glyph Territorial. At the end, remaining points can still be distributed on the main boards. For leveling up, I definitely recommend Lust for Carnage and Ancestral Guidance as the first two boards, and then you should also take Natural Attunement. More resources give you more room for action, especially at the beginning. Here you can see the Paragon system of my Season Wolf. Now the items and aspects. First the uniques. For the endgame we absolutely need the helmet, so Tornado, Hurricane and Storm Strike also become werewolf skills. Without the helmet, it will be tedious to cast tornadoes, and they will miss lots of bonus from the Paragon board. The chest armor is not quite as important, but it gives +3 skills and the werewolf form as standard. The weapon is the least important, you could also play something else here instead. For increased damage, we play Stormclaw and Blurred Beast aspects. To extend and improve the ultimate, we need Rampaging Werebeast and Dire Wolf aspect. On the armor pieces we put Storm Chasers, so the tornadoes can track targets. Storm Shifters is nice to push the skills while Hurricane is active, and damage reduction in werewolf form also makes sense. Other useful aspects would be damage while fortified, or increased attack speed by critical core strikes. Now for the affixes on the items. On the gloves we would prefer +4 to Tornado and Shred, attack speed and critical strike chance. On the pants we want various forms of damage reduction and armor in wolf form. On the shoes running speed, cost reduction and armor in wolf form. Additional fortify generation is not bad either, but stats for the Paragon board would actually be more helpful here. On the amulet we want cost and cooldown reduction, running speed and preferably +3 to toxic claws. On the rings we want to have resource generation, crit chance and additional damage and or max life. We preferably play a one-handed weapon plus a totem, there we want to have cost and cooldown reduction, resource generation and critical strike chance. Now about the gameplay. In the beginning you will unfortunately click around a lot with basic attacks. For casting multiple tornadoes on elite and boss monsters, I hold down the left mouse button to charge up resources and spam the tornado button. It is exhausting but works. For a solid resource budget without basic attacks, the corresponding Paragon nodes and skill points are important, as well as resource generation and cost reduction on the items, but you will still leave Storm Strike in the key assignments. The goal is to continuously have the ultimate active and only have to bridge a few seconds without it. You can time that very well within the gameplay, it is best to pull together a few mobs first anyway, so that the shredding is worthwhile. While Grizzly Rage is active, you can also shoot tornadoes endlessly as long as they hit something. That's the key for the Tornado Wolf. Shredding can also be used extensively without the ulti. Here you get the resource budget under control faster. In the end, both attacks work fine on their own, but the true power of this build comes when they get combined. When we have masses of enemies in front of us, the more the better, we cast a few tornadoes into the crowd and then shred down everything. Ideally, we manage to keep moving and not linger in any one place for very long. That way we get hit much less. After all, the monsters eat both the tornadoes and the damage from shredding, which makes the damage output so high. There's also the trick of stacking Toxic Claw's poison damage with the tornadoes and then triggering the damage with shred. You do that to kill Uberlilith with one hit, for example. If I get there before they fix it, I will also record it. The build is very strong and just fun to play, and also in D2 I like builds that have more than one main attack. So this wolf meets my taste exactly. I say goodbye with it, take care, and may the loot be with you.
Follow me. Thank you. Goodbye.